You've booked the ticket, packed like a pro, and you're thinking, at least I don't have to check a bag. I'm good. Then you get to the gate, a loudspeaker chirps, and before you know it, your carry-on is being whisked away like you tried to board with a piano. Now you're standing there, boarding pass in one hand, bright yellow gate check tag in the other, wondering what just happened. Welcome to air travel in 2025, where flying with a carry-on sounds simple, until it's not. And here's the part most people think they get, but still get wrong. TSA and the airline, totally different rule books. One cares what's inside your bag. The other cares if your bag could tilt the plane. Mess up either one? That perfectly packed suitcase could end up in the belly of the plane, or worse, in TSA's trash bin. So in this video, we're breaking it all down. Airline size rules, TSA liquid limits, unexpected exceptions, items that seem fine but get flagged, and the weird stuff that somehow makes it through. Stick around, because your next carry-on might depend on it. Here's where it all starts to fall apart. You'd think there's one clear definition of a carry-on, right? Wrong. In the US, every airline has its own idea of what counts. Some are chill, allowing 22 by 14 by 9 inches, wheels and handle included. Others, if your bag's bigger than a shoebox, they act like you're smuggling a suitcase full of bricks. Budget airlines especially love this game. Some only allow a personal item, basically a laptop bag or purse. If your backpack looks even slightly overachieving, get ready to cough up $75. And just when you think you've played it smart, measured your bag at home, fits perfectly, you hit the gate and discover, surprise! The baggage sizer is magically smaller than the one on the website. Coincidence? Or carefully designed trap? I'll let you decide. But that's just the outside of your bag. Because even if you pass the airline size test, next comes TSA. And TSA? They're not impressed by how sleek or compact your suitcase is. What matters to them is speed. Their job is to get your stuff through the scanner without jamming up the line, and they're laser focused on anything that slows that process down. So the infamous 311 rule still holds. Liquids, gels, creams, and sprays must be under 3.4 ounces, all packed into a single clear, quart-sized bag. And yes, that includes peanut butter, face lotion, and anything spreadable. If you can smear it on toast, TSA considers it a threat to national security. So now you're juggling two masters, the airline's strict size obsession and TSA's liquid paranoia. And somewhere in between, your carry-on becomes collateral damage. Coming up, we'll talk about the surprising things you can actually bring through TSA. Spoiler, Harry Potter wands, yes. Almond butter? No. And how to avoid the gate check walk of shame. Most people walk into the TSA line like it's a multiple-choice test with no right answers. You've got your bag, your best guess, and a growing sense that maybe, just maybe, that jar of almond butter is about to ruin your day. But here's the twist. Not everything you think is banned actually is. In fact, TSA has a whole list of surprising exceptions that'll make you do a double take. Take liquids, for example. Everyone memorizes the 3.4-ounce rule like gospel, but what most travelers don't realize is that certain things, like breast milk, formula, or baby food, aren't held to that limit. And no, you don't even need a baby with you. You just have to let them know ahead of time. It's the same with medical items. Need insulin, prescription cream, or cooling gel packs for medication. Those get a pass. They might scan it twice or swab the outside, but it won't get tossed. Now here's where things get a little unexpected. TSA is weirdly fine with stuff that feels like it came straight out of a sitcom. You could walk through security with a bowling ball in one hand and a Harry Potter wand in the other, and they wouldn't blink. Same goes for cowboy spurs, mini espresso machines, even a container with a live fish, so long as the water's sealed and doesn't leak. One traveler actually confirmed this with TSA before bringing their pet goldfish on a cross-country flight. And yes, the fish made it just fine. Meanwhile, someone else tried bringing a magic 8-ball and got stopped. Apparently, the mysterious liquid inside triggered the no-go rule. TSA's website even jokes about it. We asked the 8-ball if it could fly. It said, outlook not so good. What's funny is that you can bring a standard lighter. Actually, 2, with fuel. And you're still in the clear, just don't check them. But try to sneak a container of peanut butter past security, and suddenly the mood changes. Because in TSA's eyes, if you can spread it on toast, it counts as a gel. And that means it's regulated, heavily. So yes, the whole thing is a little absurd, but if you know the loopholes and the logic behind them, you can pack smarter and stress less. Just remember, it's not always about what makes sense. It's about what TSA says makes sense, and that's a whole different universe. Coming up, we're diving into the everyday items that do get flagged, things that seem harmless, but somehow still set off the alarm. And no, it's not always about what you packed. Sometimes it's just about who's on duty that day. All right, so you followed the rules. You measured your bag. You triple-checked your liquids. You even packed your snacks in little Ziplocs like a good traveler. And still, you're the one getting pulled aside. Why? Because TSA has a special place in their hearts for the unexpected offenders. Take peanut butter. Looks innocent, right? Wrong. It's technically a spreadable gel. That means it falls under the 3.4-ounce rule. And if you packed a full-size jar, congrats, you just triggered a bag search. Same goes for things like hummus, salsa, lotion, yogurt, even certain kinds of makeup. If it squishes, it counts. If it leaks, it counts. If it could be spread on toast, TSA's watching. Then there's the I didn't even think of that category. Snow globes, too much liquid, canned tuna. Yep, that juice inside counts. And yes, your deodorant. If it's an aerosol, it better be travel-sized or it's going in the bin. But the most consistent surprise offender? Tools. You brought a wrench? That's a no. A small screwdriver? Depends on the length. A pocket knife you forgot was in your bag? That'll buy you 30 minutes of awkward explaining and possibly a fine if the TSA agent's having a rough day. Oh, and don't even think about bringing a novelty lighter shaped like a gun. Sounds obvious, but someone tries it every year. And every year it ends the same way. Delays, paperwork, and a very awkward conversation with airport police. Truth is, TSA doesn't care if you've flown with it before. Different day, different officer, different result. So if you've ever been stopped for something ridiculous, like a snow globe, a spice jar, or your innocent little ham sandwich, drop it in the comments. We're collecting all the weirdest TSA moments, and yours might just make someone else feel a whole lot better on their next trip. There's a difference between getting flagged and getting stopped. Some items just raise an eyebrow. Others, they bring everything to a screeching halt. And yet, people still try. Let's start with the obvious one, firearms. You'd think no one needs a reminder, but every year TSA finds thousands of guns in carry-ons. Not replicas, not souvenirs, real loaded weapons. In 2023 alone, they confiscated over 6,700. That's more than 18 a day, and that's just the ones they caught. Then there's the Pope, but it's just one bullet crowd. Maybe it rolled to the bottom of a hunting backpack. Maybe it was in a jacket from your last trip. Doesn't matter. One stray round can delay your flight, land you in an interrogation room, and kickstart a federal paperwork headache that no one wants before boarding Group C. Sharp items fall into the same no excuses zone. A disposable razor? Usually fine, but if the blade's removable, forget it. Even certain safety razors can get you pulled. It all depends on whether TSA considers it a tool or a threat. And aerosol cans? You might love that oversized hairspray or industrial-strength deodorant, but it's not coming on board. Same for anything pressurized that's bigger than travel size. The rule's clear. If it hisses or could explode, it's not flying coach. Then we get into the stuff that just makes you pause. Like a can of bear spray. Someone once packed that in a carry-on flying from Denver to Anchorage. Spoiler, it didn't make it past the checkpoint, not even into checked luggage. That thing's basically pepper spray on steroids, and TSA treats it like a weapon. And yes, someone once tried to board with a foam sword. Not a real one, just a bright green prop from a kid's costume. But from a distance, it looked not great. And the line between playful and panic-inducing is thinner than you'd think at 6 a.m. in Terminal B. Moral of the story? If it pokes, sprays, stabs, shoots, or makes a screener say, "Wait, what is that?" it's probably not coming with you. Bottom line, if it belongs in a combat zone or Halloween aisle, it probably doesn't belong in your carry-on. Next up, we're taking the chaos international, because once you leave the US, the rules change again. and your innocent snack might turn into a $250 fine the second you land. Flying within the US and flying internationally, two completely different games, especially when it comes to what you're allowed to carry. At home, most airlines don't weigh your carry-on. As long as it fits in the overhead bin, no one blinks. But hop on a flight in Europe or Asia, and that same bag, one you've flown with for years, is now too heavy. Some carriers cap it at 15 pounds. They'll weigh it right there at the gate, in front of everyone, just for fun. Then comes security. You might assume the TSA's 3.4-ounce liquid rule is a global standard. It's not. Some countries are stricter. Others require you to separate every liquid and electronic device into its own tray, like you're about to do a science experiment. That face cream you've flown with 10 times? Totally fine leaving New York. Might get you pulled aside in Tokyo. And the surprises don't stop at security. Food, for example, becomes a whole new kind of danger. That harmless apple you forgot in your backpack could turn into a $250 fine when you land in Australia. One traveler learned that the hard way. Customs didn't care it was a snack from the flight. They cared it violated biosecurity laws. Boom, instant penalty, no warning. Even dry snacks can raise eyebrows. Jerky, trail mix, fruit snacks, anything derived from animals or plants might require declaration. And I didn't know isn't a defense that works in customs. So how do you avoid the international oops moment? Before you fly, check two things: your airline's cabin weight limits and the customs website for your destination. Because nothing ruins that "I've arrived" feeling faster than a uniformed officer tossing your beef jerky into a biohazard bin while writing you a fine. And hey, if you've ever had an "I didn't know I couldn't bring that" moment abroad, let us know in the comments. We're building a global snack horror story collection. You're almost there. You've made it past check-in. Your bag hasn't been weighed. Your water bottle's empty. You think, maybe this won't be so bad. And then you hit the TSA line. This is where everything falls apart. Not because you packed wrong, but because you packed like someone who forgot this part of the trip existed. Neat packing means nothing if it takes you 2 minutes to reach your laptop. If it's buried under sweaters, tangled in a hoodie, and wrapped in optimism, the line's about to stop for you. Let's start with the golden rule. Liquids, creams, gels, sprays, they all come out. TSA wants that quart-size bag ready to go. If you're digging for your shampoo in a side pocket while people behind you are already barefoot and irritated, it's too late. That bag should be right at the top, near the zipper, not tucked behind your emergency snacks and souvenir hoodie. Same goes for electronics. It's not just laptops anymore. Tablets, e-readers, cameras, handheld gaming consoles, anything thicker than your phone probably needs its own bin. Especially at big airports like LAX or JFK, where security is basically a performance and you're the opening act. And here's the move that separates seasoned travelers from the flustered ones. Pack for the checkpoint. Keep your electronics in one place. Make sure your passport, ID, and boarding pass aren't buried in your backpack like a scavenger hunt. If your socks have holes, today's not the day. Speaking of socks, let's talk shoes. If you don't have TSA pre-check, odds are you're taking them off. That means no lace-up boots, no complicated sandals, no hiking shoes with 30 loops. Just something you can slip off and back on without performing acrobatics in front of strangers. And for the love of your sanity, don't toss your valuables, phone, wallet, jewelry, loose into the tray. All it takes is one bin to get rerouted for extra screening, and next thing you know, your AirPods are halfway to Phoenix. Use a small zippered pouch, toss everything in, and drop that into your personal bag before the bins even show up. This isn't just about speed, it's about looking like you've done this before. And when you move through security like it's no big deal, you lower your stress, keep your stuff safe, and avoid being the person holding up the line while everyone else silently curses your name. Up next, we're wrapping it all up with the moment of truth. What actually happens if you do mess up and TSA catches something they really don't like? So let's say you forgot, or you genuinely didn't know. Maybe it was an oversized lotion, a sneaky little blade in your keychain, or your lucky pocket knife that somehow made it through 4 flights before this one. What happens now? Well, best case scenario, TSA gives you a look, tosses the item, and waves you through. Slightly embarrassing, but no harm done, except to your $60 face cream that just got chucked into a gray bin without ceremony. Slightly worse, you're asked to step aside. You get the secondary screening. Maybe a supervisor shows up. Maybe they swab your laptop, empty your bag, and act like your portable espresso maker is a coded message from a spy ring. Still manageable, if a little humiliating. But if the item is serious, like a weapon, ammo, or something that looks vaguely tactical, you're now in the real security experience. We're talking reports, fines, possible police involvement. Missing your flight isn't just a risk, it's a real possibility. You might even get slapped with a civil penalty that costs more than your round-trip ticket. What makes it worse? Once TSA takes something, you're not getting it back. There's no lost and found for banned items. Some get destroyed, some get donated, and some, well, they resurface on a government auction site. That bottle of perfume you lost in Vegas? It might be living its best life on eBay right now. Even if your item was completely harmless, if you argue or act difficult, things can spiral fast. TSA doesn't have arrest powers, but they can call airport police. And you do not want to have a chat with armed officers before 9 a.m. over a nail file shaped like a switchblade. So if you're ever in doubt, follow the golden rule. When in doubt, leave it out, or check it. And if this entire video helped you dodge just one mistake, or at least made you laugh while repacking your bag for the third time, here's what to do next. Hit that like button. Drop a comment if TSA ever confiscated something ridiculous from you. We know some of you lost a snow globe or a ham sandwich and lived to tell the tale. And don't forget to subscribe for more travel tips, fewer airport regrets, and just enough sarcasm to survive another security line. Travel smart, pack lighter, and may your carry-on always fit on the first try. See you at the gate.